Hey guys, thanks for tuning in to another edition of Toad Shooting Show. We have the Springfield 1903A3, and this was manufactured in 1943. I finally decided to change the barrel on it, and this was the reason why. It's a 3-shot group, 5-shot group. At one time in this gun's life, it was a parade rifle, or what you would call a drill rifle, and this was used to practice proper handling of guns and to do ceremonial demonstrations and those type of things. And some of the indications is if you take a look at the magazine cutoff, what they would do is they would weld this area here. They also would weld the barrel to the receiver, and they would drive a steel rod down and they would weld that in too to make sure that the gun was not going to be able to be operational. At some time in the gun's life, somebody resurrected the gun, ground off the welds, metal finished everything, and made it back into a functioning firearm. So what that tells me is the stock is not original to this gun. The bolt probably isn't original. Obviously the magazine cutoff isn't original. So pretty much the only thing on this gun that had any legitimacy to the actual original registered gun is the receiver. So with that being said, I decided to change the barrel. And the old barrel was a little bit rusty, and the interesting thing about that is they took a barrel that was on another gun and then they put it on this one. And I can tell you it took 2 men and a small boy to get that barrel on there, because I had to go through all sorts of things to get that barrel off of there. And one of the indicators, if you ever are wondering on whether or not a gun has been decommissioned in that fashion, a lot of times the area where they weld, they may use stainless steel or something with a high nickel content, and it will not take bluing. And another thing that you can notice is there is a little bit of heat damage or maybe a little bit of puddling around the adjacent area of where they did their welds. So there was really no authenticity to this gun that I was damaging. I actually think initial results with the accuracy that this gun is providing now is better than it was before. You are a bad barrel. This gun won't let you get away with anything. If your form isn't exactly perfect, I know form is important with all firearms, but you really have to manage the recoil the same way every time. And your sight picture, everything needs to be perfect. And of course, it's kind of hard to return to your exact zero with a gun that recoils as much as the 30-06. So what it's doing is it's starting off from a different point every time. But let's see what we can do here with this group. So this is my seating depth experiment with 53.5 grains of Hodgdon 4350 and a 150 grain Sierra tipped Match King. And this is the 3006, the 1903 A3. And on the left there, that looks to be about 2 inches. You've got beautiful 3-shot cluster, but iron sights, it's kind of tough to keep that perfect sight picture. Then we've got a very nice 4-shot cluster here with dropped one out. And this was the original seating depth that I based my experiment on to start with, and I'm getting the same results. So I'm going to stick with this. This looks like about 1.5 inches or so. You know, 4 of them are under 1 inch. And of course, this one, it didn't really like the jump here with this because we're 3.658, and it was jumping a little bit further. And you can see a big difference between this one and this one. Another thing you might notice are these targets. If you have a hard time with keeping that front sight left and right because it blurs out so much, right? You know, you don't know if you're high in the target or low in the target. Put a white piece of paper and do the old lollipop trick with your sight right here with the orange on top. And of course, these 03 A3s have about a 400-yard battle sight 0 on it. So this gun would be perfect from 1 to 400 yards. Very, very consistent shots on steel without even having to touch the sights at all. So once again, this is my most recent video. I want to wish you guys a Happy New Year. And I do have a process video related to changing the barrel, polishing the trigger, bedding the front of the stock, load development. There's all sorts of stuff that I've been videoing, but I just haven't had a chance to get everything uploaded. So stay tuned for the next video. It'll be regarding the 03 A3. And have a Happy New Year.